In emergency situations, first responders can be dispatched at a moment's notice. Heading many times into danger, they can include the police, firefighters, and paramedics. In the Transformers franchise, one might think of the Rescuebots, a team of Autobots who worked with their local first responders. However, back in G1, the original Autobot rescue squad had a different name, the Protectobots.
Attention, Protectobots! Evacuation assistance needed now!
Consider supporting the channel on Patreon or becoming a channel member today. Initially produced but ultimately unreleased for the Diaclone toy line, the 4 special teams, also known as Scramble City Combiners, were released for the Transformers toy line early in 1986, with the aerial bots hitting toy shelves early enough for Christmas of 1985. Unlike the first combiner in the Transformers franchise, Devastator, which was made up of 6 smaller Constructicons, these teams were made up of a larger Transformer that could become the torso, with the 4 others becoming limbs for the combiner. Among them was a team of first responder and law enforcement themed Autobots known as the Protectobots.
That's Intrepticon, the new Decepticon city. It's enormous! That never stopped the Protectobots before.
The first team member was the clever police Nissan 300ZX Turbo Streetwise, who can easily adapt and understand his environment. The easygoing Honda Goldwing police motorcycle, Groove, is a pacifist who doesn't quite understand his place on the team. The Bell Huey rescue helicopter, Blades, is a street-fighting brawler who would rather use his helicopter blades to slash Decepticons instead of being used in rescue missions. The compassionate Datsun Vanette ambulance, First Aid, cannot stand the sight of any machine in pain and will keep an Autobot in his medical bay even for something as trivial as a broken turn signal. Their charismatic leader, Hotspot, transforms into a Mitsubishi Fuso Great Fire Engine. His fellow Protectobots can sometimes have trouble keeping up with his non-stop pace. Like other Scramble City combiners, Hotspot also had a third mode, transforming into a repair bay, while the other Protectobots each came with weapons that they can use in vehicle mode. The team can merge to become the mighty Defensor. With his personality created by their combined minds, Defensor believes in protecting life at all costs, and he can create a huge force field temporarily. Like other Scramble City combiners, his limbs could be arranged however anyone wanted, which explains why some artwork depicted Defensor's combination differently than his usual appearances. First introduced late in G1's second season episode, The Revenge of Bruticus, the Protectobots were called in to help the Autobots evacuate humans being attacked by a swarm of Insecticons. Acting from their own separate base within Central City, the Protectobots would also assist other first responders in addition to helping the Autobots battle against the Decepticons. However, they were not seen combining into Defensor until the final episode of Season 2, BOT, where he blasted Bruticus into pieces.
Call sanitation! There's junk all over the street!
And he protected his fellow Autobots with a force field. Unfortunately, because details about the characters were handed to the production staff later than the other combiner teams, the Protectobots did not receive an origin episode, and the voice actors for the team were made up of talent who were already on the show.
I'll try. Do what you have to, First Aid. I can take it.
Some liquid nitrogen ought to cool things off around here! Hey, Screamer! Your pilot's license just expired!
All right, Ultra Magnus, but don't stress those circuits till I can take a look at you.
No, we just want to help. And with my energy by setting up a force field. Better escape. The force will carry on and fix us. Roll out!
In Season 3, the Protectobots were always present to assist Rodimus Prime in defending Cybertron and Earth from threats from the Decepticons,
Looks like they don't care who they ace as long as they get us, too.
the Quintessons, and any human terrorists.
Well, you're not helping anyone by standing here talking. Get to it.
Hey, cool your transistors!
We're already on our way.
Protectobots, transform!
Continuing their rivalry with the Combaticons, the Protectobots defended Japan as Defensor against Bruticus.
No more, Bruticus! No more harm will come to the humans!
They helped the people in the music-centered world of Eurythema in Carnage in C minor.
Soundwave, are you getting this?
Of course, being the worst animated episode, an error had Hotspot even battling alongside Defensor. A Spotlight Season 3 episode for the Protectobots, The Ultimate Weapon, had First Aid quit working for the Autobots when he blamed himself for allowing Swindle to steal Metroplex's transformation cog.
What are you trying to do, First Aid? Talk me into surrendering?
That isn't a bad idea, Swindle.
Unlike their bios, which stated that Groove was a pacifist, it was First Aid who had a disdain for war.
I don't believe in fighting. I'm a medic, not a warrior.
And you'll die for your beliefs!
When the Protectobots needed to save humans without their medic, they were forced to combine into Defensor with only one arm as he struggled to catch a train.
This would be a lot easier if First Aid was here!
Once First Aid realized his place with the Autobots, he helped properly install Metroplex's transformation cog, which allowed the Autobot Titan to put a stop to Trypticon's rampage.
Let go of me! As you wish!
In the Return of Optimus Prime Part 1, First Aid constructed an exoskeleton to allow Jessica Morgan to walk again after a Decepticon attack left her paralyzed.
Dr. Morgan, her legs were paralyzed in the accident. This exoskeleton will enable her to move about.
This didn't sit well with her father, who released a hate plague upon the universe. The Protectobots were infected by it while battling Superion. After Optimus Prime released the power of the Matrix to cure the plague, the Protectobots were present in both the US finale, The Rebirth, and the Japanese exclusive series, The Headmasters. In the Marvel Comics, both the Combaticons and the Protectobots were introduced without an origin in issue 24's story, The Afterdeath, in which led to Optimus Prime's death after losing in a video game. Afterwards, the Protectobots carried their leader's body back to base, and they were present at his funeral, where his body was launched into space. After Grimlock became leader of the Autobots, he dispatched the Protectobots to find and arrest Blaster, who had chosen not to follow Grimlock's command. Upon finding him, the Protectobots battled against the Combaticons. Eventually, the two teams combined, while Blaster tried to protect humans from Defensor and Bruticus's battle. Realizing that Blaster did a better job at protecting than him, Hotspot allowed Blaster to escape with the humans aboard a deactivated blastoff. However, a UK exclusive story, Second Generation, attempts to give an origin of events for the Combiners, which are dubbed the Special Teams in the UK. Due to his connection to the Creation Matrix, Buster Witwicky begins to have nightmares about Shockwave and combining Decepticons attacking him. To help him, Ratchet connects Optimus to a machine that allows him to see into Buster's dreams. Upon entering, they see the Protectobots merging to form Defensor to help Superion battle Menasor and Bruticus. After awakening from the dream, Optimus Prime orders the creation of both the Aerobots and the Protectobots. After these stories, the individual Protectobots made very few solo appearances. Hotspot was subsequently killed off in the Generation 2 comics, and their G1 toys that were supposed to be re-released in the G2 toy line were ultimately cancelled. In Japan, however, the toy was recolored and renamed as the Guard City Team during Operation Combination in 1992. As a free combination combiner, Guard City himself could use his limbs in any formation he chose. In the Dreamwave comics, the Protectobots were a neutral combining team that appeared on Cybertron during the War Within, the Dark Ages. When Devastator was unleashed upon the Wreckers, the Protectobots responded by combining into Defensor. However, as the two clashed, much of the industrial area was destroyed. Springer convinced Defensor to separate back into the Protectobots, who devised a plan to take Devastator down. After the battle, the team tried to figure out why they lost control as Defensor. But before they can resolve that issue, the Protectobots were taken captive. After G1 ended, the Protectobots were largely forgotten about as a team. Some of the individuals had toys released over the years, and some of their names were changed for trademark reasons. In Transformers Universe, a recolor of 6 Turbo was released as the Protectobots, made up of the Micromasters Groove, First Aid, Hotspot, Prowl, Red Alert, and Streetwise, and they can combine into a rather small version of Defensor. A Power Core combiner named Stakeout came with 4 Protectobot drones that he can combine to help and defend others. While the Protectobots had no appearances in the Align continuity, they probably served as inspiration for the Rescue Bots. This rescue squad landed on Earth after a mission placed them in stasis. Meaning the team, Optimus Prime had them take Earth-based vehicle modes. Heatwave, Chase, Boulder, and Blades assisted the Burns family of first responders at Griffin Rock.
Rescue bots, roll to the rescue!
Eventually, they began an academy to train a new generation of rescue bots. However, the Protectobots as a team would once again receive toys during the Combiner Wars toy line. A new character, Rook, who transforms into an armored SWAT vehicle, replaces Groove as one of Defensor's limbs. Instead, Groove was released as a smaller motorcycle who became a chest plate for Defensor. Giving them an origin for this version of the team, the IDW comics featured most of them as members of the Lost Light crew, though they were not part of a specialized unit. However, when they were called upon to escort Mirage back to Cybertron, Streetwise jokingly referred to the team as the Protectobots. When the Constructicons attacked, Starscream used the Enigma of Combination on the team, sending Defensor to take down Devastator. Upon returning to the Lost Light, a terrible plot by the villainous Getaway put an end to the Protectobots when the overly zealous Starsaber took out Defensor, leaving First Aid as the only member to escape. In Japan, however, Combiner Wars Defensor was redecoed into a more cartoon-accurate color scheme. Instead of using Rook as a new limb, he came with Groove as a new deluxe-class mold. This new version of Groove would later be released in the US as an online exclusive. While an origin episode for the G1 Protectobots may have not been produced in the cartoon, many have speculated as to where this team of rescue vehicles came from, considering that the other Combiner teams received episodes of their own.
You must give personalities to the Stunticons. They're cybernetic creations like ourselves. Fill them with hatred for the Autobots and all that the Autobots stand for.
However, an Ask Vector Prime entry in 2015 finally gave us an answer. On a mission in space, Omega Supreme discovered 5 Autobots on the failed colony world of Archon. In order to revive them once brought back to Earth, they were given an Energon infusion donated by the Aerial Bots. While it was successful, the 5 unexpectedly gained the ability to combine. To help them acclimate to life on Earth, Optimus Prime gave them their own headquarters in Central City and named them the Protectobots.
Protectobots! Hotspot! Streetwise! Groove! First Aid and Blades! Transform into Defensor!
Considering all of the dangers that first responders go through, we can certainly thank them for keeping people safe. Likewise, with the Protectobots and their combined form of Defensor, they are a welcome addition to the Autobots. While they're often forgotten about, you can always depend upon them to save the day.
The Autobots need us!
But what do you think? What is the proper origin for the Protectobots, and should they be included in more Transformers stories?
Number 2-1, just to kind of challenge I like.
Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you like this video, be sure to thumbs up and subscribe. I'd like to thank my patrons and my channel members for your support. I have many more Transformers videos like this coming soon, so stay tuned. And as always, until next time, till all are one.
I was feeling miserable before this. Miserable and useless, but now I know I've got what it takes to command the Autobots.
Sometimes it just takes a while to realize what you've got to offer others. Isn't that right, First Aid?
You better believe it.